What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to go over a little bit of news here about the upcoming events from Plarium, so let's jump right into that. Before we jump into that, we do have the Awakening boost here for the Soulstone summons. We also have a ongoing Titan event and the Lunar Deck of Fate. So I covered the Lunar Deck of Fate in a earlier video. It's going to be training plus Soulstone. So the Soulstone's double chance event kind of lines up kind of well with the pulling of the Soulstones for the lunar points. Keep in mind the reaction to this lunar reward is kind of mixed. Some people don't like that there's only 100 points here for the Titan event. Other people like it because it's kind of like an easy skip. You know, it's a big gamble, right? To gamble for this 100 fragments for the chance at the cat's gaze. But it is what it is. I mean, it's training, it's not shards, so more people probably have access to it, or more people will probably be able to finish it and can conserve their shards for next week. So up to you guys, what you guys want to do. Also keep in mind that CVC is happening in 10 hours. I will be streaming a CVC, so if you guys are interested or online, make sure you guys drop on by, say hello. We'll just be chilling, of course. It's not going to be personal reward CVC. So, of course, you guys don't need to save up your soul stones for all that stuff if you guys want to keep your scores down and all that. But it's up to what your clan wants to do. But anyways, let's jump into the news here. So Plarium dropped us a little bit of news. I'm going to put this right above my head. So we got 2 progressive events, surprise, surprise, that are happening during CVC. 1 event per day. So let's jump into what each day entails. So on day 1, we have the goated G-Nut here from the Dwarves faction, one of the best fusions of all time, if not the most influential or best fusion of all time, probably. He's coming with the triple hit, max HP damage, 30% of the boss's HP is slammed away with 1 attack. One of the best champions for PvE for sure. Moving on, we have Stultus Dragonbane from the Bannerlords here. Very good champion overall. He has a great passive here that doesn't require accuracy or books. And he basically allows him to transfer poison debuffs from himself back onto the enemy. So this is really good for Hard Dragon. He is a massive cheat code for that dungeon. If you have Stultus, you should be using him versus the Hard Dragon. He's also really good against the Nether Spider. Obviously, you get tons of poisons from Nether Spider, and his passive just reflects it all back without accuracy and without books. Great champion. Also has double AoEs on his kit, allowing him to do good damage in arena and all that. So if you have him as a damage dealer, he can be very, very strong for arena as well. Moving on from Stultus, we have the Barbarian Valkyrie up for grabs on day 1 for the 15x event. Valkyrie here, still one of the few champions in the game that provides a team-wide counterattack buff. Also provides a shield proportionate to her defense, which is really, really good because then you can scale up her defense, making her deal more damage and giving her a larger shield. Her base defense is really, really high, like really high. 1600 almost for a non-void, non-mythical champion is really insane. Decent base speed as well. Still a great champion, can definitely carry pretty hard in all areas, especially clan boss for early or mid game. Obviously, if you have like counterattack going off all the time against the waves, it's going to be a little bit slow, so she doesn't show up all the time against waves. But I mean, if you have a limited roster and you pull her early, she's massive for survivability, massive for damage, massive for anything like protection, can be used for arena as well. Stone Skin makes her passive a little bit worse, but still a good champion overall to pick up. After that, we have Mishinaki, another incredible defense-based champion from the Shadowkins here. This one really good in most areas. Probably all areas he's good. PvP can definitely be good. He has a strip. He has a strip on his A3, which is really good. So build him with accuracy. He can do some stripping. He can also do the AoE decreased defense. And he has a counterattack here that sends his A1 into the enemy. And he has HP burn. I mean, he's good against bosses. He's insane against Hydra. He's useful in dungeons. He's useful in arena. Great champion overall. Moving on to the next non-void legendary. Looks like we're going with a defense-based theme here. We got Sacred Order, Wixwell. Mr. Wixwell here, defense-based, providing increased defense, shield, and intercept. He has a 100% provoke against bosses. Really good against Hydra to provoke the Head of Decay. I actually use him in one of my Hydra teams. He's just solid. He also brings AoE decrease attack with the buff extension, and then of course his A3 gives a lot of extra protection just when you need it. Passive, not particularly insane or anything like that, but I think it's fine. His passive, I think this is the weakest part of his kit probably, but overall it's still a good champion. Is really insane in clan boss still, even though he was nerfed or fixed. His shield and his shield growing really provides really easy access to Ultra Nightmare clan boss if you're still looking for that. After that, we're looking at some Void legendaries. We got Necrit the Great from the Undead Hordes. Void, I have Necrit. He's a very good champion. He brings a ton. 2 passives, really good abilities here. He's bringing a passive here that protects your basically weakest, lowest max HP. So it protects your lowest max HP champion at the start of the turn. Very strong champion. Also provides additional shields. And then he has a additional protection here, cannot be removed, ally protection. Brings an ally attack as well, so you can use him offensively as well. Really good champion, just protect your nuker for arena. That's kind of like his main role, but he's just generally really good everywhere. Like, he can be used in clan boss, you can use just to carry your dungeons. Great champion overall. After that, we have the Void Dwarf here, Tormund the Cold. I really like Tormund. I have a couple copies of him on my alt. I have 3 copies of this guy on my alt, which is absolutely insane, considering how many Void champions you can actually get. But I have 3 copies of this guy. Great champion. Stone Skin makes him a little bit less good, I guess, but he brings AoE provoke, so that's AoE control. He brings single target buff removal and a freeze, and then he has an A1 AoE freeze as well, and a passive that freezes upon turn meter boosting. So, and he has a really cool revive that keeps him alive. He's a great champion overall. He can hit decent. He has decent stats overall as well. If you pick him up, he's definitely going to be super useful in a lot of areas, wave clearing and all that stuff. Not so much for clan boss, but kind of makes up for it in the arena. But yeah, good champion overall. And that rounds out our day 1. So our day 2, in terms of the 15x progressive, we have starting here Snicktrax from the Skinwalkers here. Sorry, Cleopatra. Cleopatra Gracie. There he is, Snicktrax. Yeah, so really good. I actually use this guy as in my first Chimera team on a test server. He actually just brings a lot of the solid buff or debuffs that are really good. He brings the decreased speed here with a little bit of protection from the shield. He brings ally protection here, and then he brings a decreased attack. Also can apply leech as well. Just overall pretty good carry in a lot of areas. Decent against clan boss as well. Good champion. After that, heading over to the, I believe, Sacred Order here. We got Roshguard. Yeah, Roshguard here. We got the block damage here on the 4-turn cooldown, so you can use them for clan boss stuff. You can use them for, a lot of stuff. You can probably use them for, I believe, event dungeon. You can use him as well with the block damage. You can use him for Iron Twins. Generally a good carry overall, especially in the earlier mid game. So if you pick him up early, it's decent. Definitely worth building out. After that, we're heading to the Orcs. We got Artak, one of the best logins of all time. He was free at one point, maybe like a year and a half ago. He brings the AoE HP burn, he brings the AoE activation of the HP burn, and then he brings an AoE extension of the HP burn. As an interesting passive here that kind of increases his damage, but then he loses his max, but then he gets destroyed max HP. So it's a little bit counteractive, I guess, because most of his damage comes from HP burn. You don't really need like stats like increased crit damage and stuff. So, but anyways, really strong champion, good base stats overall. Just an absolute goat in the ice golem, makes things a lot easier for a lot of people. He is available up for grabs. Coming up next, we have Bibble the Thorn from the Sacred Order here. Where is he? Spirit support champion or HP based champion. A1 provoke, not bad since it can go through affinity. He doesn't weak hit on it. He has an A2 with the 3-turn cooldown. AoE provoke, AoE leech, and again same kind of mechanic where he does not weak hit. So he goes through affinity, which is really nice. And then he has an A3 here that provides a shield on an AoE hit. This is not particularly strong because he doesn't hit very good, but it does give you a little bit of survivability with the shield. This kind of helps him stay alive a little bit, takes a little bit less damage. Good base stats overall. Good in Hydra generally, and then he's just generally good in areas where you need some kind of control Also, the leech and the shield is very useful because it keeps your squad alive, right? So if you pick him up for like faction wars, he's gonna hard carry you big time. After that, we have a Samson coming in from the Skinwalkers here. Spirit-based damage dealer. He's HP based. I don't have him built in or anything like that, but his A2 hits pretty hard if you can get the extra hit going off on him. So he does remove increased defense from the enemy before attacking. So it's like, you know, it's a very conditional strip, but it's a single hit into a double hit. If he kills somebody, this can be a pretty good hit. He also has a very annoying passive where he counterattacks, and then his A1 has a stun on it, so he can constantly stun your guy. So he's a little bit annoying for sure. You know, he's pretty tanky, but he's a damage dealer. But he doesn't hit particularly hard unless you can get the double hit going on him. But yeah, he's going to be up for grabs as well. Moving on to the Void legendaries, we got some interesting candidates here. We got Knight Revenant. I guess this is HP based champions on day 2. But we have King Narses up for grabs here. I actually don't have this guy on my main account. He's probably my biggest regret in Raid Shadow Legends, I think. My biggest regret. I don't have a lot of regrets in this game. But yeah, King Narses is the one I definitely regret on. And the story behind him, I'm sure I've harped this nonstop. But basically, the week before King Narses, the guarantee for King Narses was announced. I believe he was in February. The week before it happened, I was up against Mercy, and it was a 25 or a 15x Yumiko event, and I pulled for Yumiko with my Mercy. I didn't get Yumiko, but I ended up getting Georgid. And then the week after, King Narses came, and he was 110 Void Shards, and he's the best Void champion they've ever given away for a guarantee. And yeah, he ends up being my biggest regret because he's an absolute meta changer. And I would love to have had him, but it is what it is. He's definitely faded off a bit since the introductions of, you know, more OP champions like Mythicals and all that stuff. But it's still a very insane champion, especially with Ancora. So he will be up for grabs. And then finally, to round everything out, we have Sylvan Watchers, Clayna recently buffed. And she actually got buffed into something that's actually usable. So she has a 3-turn cleanse with block debuff and a revive on death. This is basically the same as Cardiel's 3-turn cleanse block debuff with the revive on death. Cardiel's revive on death is protected, so it's, you know, slightly better, but this is basically the same. Very good. And then she has an A2 here that goes decrease speed with leech. And then it has a little bit here where it restores destroyed max HP with the heal. I mean, that's kind of whatever, but the decreased speed and leech is actually really, really good. And then she has an A1, has 100% chance to sleep, a bit of turn meter boosting here. So she can actually be used in places like Sand Devil, for example, or anywhere where sleep is actually really, really good. Obviously, she needs accuracy for A1, and then she needs accuracy for the decreased speed and leech. Her passive here kind of, you know, gives you a second shot with one champion. I believe if you place your champions in, I believe this this ability goes in team order. So if you place them in the lead, I believe it will protect the lead first if your whole team dies. If it works similar to Sepulchre Sentinel, I'm not 100% sure since it's random, but maybe since it says random, it's going to be actually everybody. I'm not too sure. I haven't really tested that at all. Good base stats overall. I mean, she's a Void legendary, so you kind of expect more from her. Her kit I don't think is insanely good, but compared to what it was before, I don't recall exactly what it was before, but it was completely useless. She's not completely useless, so she can definitely do something. But she's up for grabs. So that's going to be it for the Voids on day 2. Like I said, like for a lot of these progressive events, they're kind of just bait events. If you guys want to spend the shards, if you guys are up against Mercy, if you guys have a good reason to pull, then yeah, by all means go for it. Keep in mind that the non-void legendaries, you're only going to get roughly about 7.5% chance of pulling that legendary if you hit a legendary, and the odds of you hitting a legendary are not boosted, so it's already very low. And the odds of hitting the desired void legendary, so for example, if you wanted King Narses and you pull a void legendary by chance, the odds of pulling your desired void legendary is approximately 20%. So it's still a bit of a long shot. It only works really well if you have a lot of shards, for example, and even then it doesn't even guarantee that you have it. But yeah, these are a bit of bait events, so definitely hold on to your shards if you don't have to pull. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys are planning to do. Like I said, I will be streaming at the start of CBC tomorrow, so make sure you guys drop on by if you guys have time. Thanks for watching as always. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do for these events, if these events are worth going for yourselves, or what you guys are doing for the Lunar Deck of Fate. Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one.